Hello everyone and welcome to another video. If you want to make a game and don't know where to start, I've got some tips here that's going to get you well on your way. But with that said, I feel I need to mention, AI is here and it's not going away. It's only going to get better and better. But more on that later. Let's get into this. You want to make your dream game, and I know your dream game might be an immersive multiplayer game like Fortnite, a fighting game like Tekken, or a big open world game like Elden Ring or Grand Theft Auto. But for your first game, I would really suggest something smaller. I mean way smaller. And make it something 2D. Because even those big AAA studios with big budgets and years of experience have problems getting things right. And no, I'm not talking about a 2D game like Hollow Knight or even Vampire Survivors. I'm thinking much smaller. I'm talking about Chrome Dino. You know that game that pops up on Google Chrome when you lose the internet? I know it all too well. When you choose a game like that, the scope of your first game is so small that you are more likely to succeed in finishing it. Now, even though the game is small, there's still a whole lot that goes into making it. But I promise, by the end of this video, you will have all the information you need to get started in making your first game. Now that we have our game, let's move on to the tools that we'll need. The first tool is the game engine. A game engine is the software that you'll need to make your game. And there are many game engines out there. The most popular ones are Unity, Unreal, and Godot. And you'll hear everyone out there telling you to choose the one that best suits your game. And I totally agree. But what is best for your game? For a simple game like Dino Run, actually any one of these will work. But I think that Unreal might be a bit overkill. I mean, unless you want to make a 3D version of Chrome Dino with ray trace reflections and dynamic lighting and shadows. Yeah, that's a thing. I looked it up. Now most game engines do use some form of programming. But seriously, if you can't code, there are game engines out there that offer a no-code approach to game development. If you're interested in this, you may want to look at a game engine called GDevelop. But I think that there's really no point to making the fact that you can't code be the deciding factor when choosing your game engine. Because even if there's no coding involved, you will still need to put the time into learning the systems that the game engine puts in place to replace coding. Choosing your game engine should be based on other factors, like, is it free and open source? Are the games that you create with the game engine totally yours? And when you do make your first commercial game, do you have to pay any royalties to anyone for your game? Okay, you got me. I'm trying to tell you to choose Godot. Godot is totally free and open source, and it's my choice for game dev because of its ease of use and the fact that it offers great support for making both 2D and 3D games. But to each their own, and you are free to choose any game engine that works for you. Now that we have our game idea and our game engine, what's next? If we don't know how to code or how the game engine works, where do we even start? Well, we need to find a tutorial. And the best place to find a free tutorial is right here on YouTube. Don't believe me? Well, let's do a search on how to make the Chrome Dino game in Godot. See? What did I tell you? And don't feel bad to copy and paste. After all, this is just your first game, and this is why the tutorial was made. That being said, it's very important that you do your best to understand the concepts being used. Maybe look up the concepts on the official documentation of the game engine and learn to think like a programmer. After all, how do you eat an elephant? I mean, I would never actually eat an elephant. It's just a saying. You need to take a big problem and break it down into its smaller parts. Now that we have all we need to start learning, let's finish the game. And the best way to do this is to set a deadline. A great way to set a deadline is to join a game jam. And a great place to find a game jam is on itch.io. A game jam is an online event where you have to finish a game within a specific time frame. Usually you will need to make your game around a specific theme, but that's not always the case. And at the end of the submission period, you get to play and rate other people's game, and other people rate and play your game. It's a great place to get feedback. So you could just make your version of Chrome Dino and enter it. Just remember to have fun with it and try to put your own spin on the tutorial. A great game jam that I love to play games from is the Try Jam on Itch. This jam happens every weekend, and in this game jam you only get 3 hours to make a game. Yeah, I know, right? That sounds impossible, but trust me when I say there are some really great games on there. If you don't want to enter the jam because you think that 3 hours is just not enough time, I encourage you to play some of the games that were made for the jam. You'll really be surprised at what you will find. We're on the home stretch now. We have our game engine, the tutorial, and the deadline. All we need now are game assets. Game assets are the raw ingredients of sorts that we'll need to make the game. It's stuff like the art, music, and sound effects. You can find great art assets on itch.io, kenny.nl, or opengameart.org. And if you're after sound effects, itch.io and opengameart.org also has a great selection of free sound effects. Pixabay.com has a lot of great royalty-free music that can be used in your game. You will just need to check with the license to make sure of the terms of use. But not to worry, a lot of the music on there are by artists that don't mind if you use their work for your projects. But again, you just need to check the terms of use, and it's always great to give attribution to the creators. If you'd like to take a shot at creating your own music and sound effects, you could use free programs like LabChirp or Chiptone for sound effects, and the LMMS DAW for music creation. Another great tool is Audacity, which is another free software for audio editing. And if you want to take a shot at creating your own art assets, there's Krita, which is another free and open source painting program that is great for game development because it even has built-in features for creating animations. And you guessed it, there are a lot of great tutorials right here on YouTube that will explain how to use all of these programs. Let's face it, the machines are here, and by machines I mean AI. Now this is a very controversial topic, and we can have an entire discussion on how AI has the potential of putting a lot of creators out of business. But AI is here, and it's not going away, and it's only going to get better and better. AI is still a long way from making your first game for you. But I suggest learning to use AI to fuel your creativity. If you have access to AI art creation sites like Midjourney or DALL-E, or AI music generating sites like SoundDraw or Loudly, then why not use them to inspire you? I personally use ChatGPT to get inspiration for my game ideas, and even some code. ChatGPT is a language model, and it's getting better and better each day. I mean, the ideas are not perfect, but they do point me in a direction, with stuff like the story and even some of the code. Now, did it get the code 100% correct? No. But again, it did point me in a direction. I was able to get parts of my game working by using it. I mean, when making your first game, should you totally depend on AI? Absolutely not. But you can use it for things like getting ideas and finding inspiration. And that's all you need to get started on your first game. These tips and your imagination. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe if you want to hang out again right here on Diragu Games.